Hi, this is Susie Oliver with Tulsa Community College. I'm doing Intro to Programming class. Program 10 is what we're going to go over today. I'm just going to start from the beginning. I know we did that in class before the break, but let's just start over again. Okay, so we've got, I went to Blackboard, and we've got our instructions and then two files. I've already downloaded the instructions, and I'll show you how to download the files in a minute and where to put them. Here's our instructions. Create a program that will open a file whose file name is given in a command line argument and that will count and report the number of lines, words, uppercase characters, lowercase characters, and total characters contained in that file. The number of characters includes letters, digits, new line characters, other white space, and punctuation. Words are defined as being separated by white space or any special character other than letters or digits. You should just code one item at a time, test it, correct it, get it working, and then code the next item. Okay, I forgot to read the top of this. It says Intro Program10Jabber, command line arguments and files. Okay, in this we're going to learn to open, read, and close input files. Deal with input characters, call character and string functions, perform with loops, write common algorithms to count various types of characters in a loop, use the new line character, and write a common string handling algorithm to detect where a word ends and begins. Okay, we're going to have two special files, special.txt and jabber.txt. The jabber.txt file comes from a poem inside the book Through the Looking Glass, which is the sequel to Alice in Wonderland, both by Lewis Carroll. I've got several links here that would be really nice to watch if you'd like to hear various renditions of this poem. The Hickory High School one is very, very funny. They actually read it and then they have a song about it that they perform. Okay, I've got a hint about how to handle this. There's several approaches that you can use. You can use read lines, or read line. If you use read, that will get all of the file into a string all at once. I prefer that for this assignment. That way I can handle everything one character at a time. And it doesn't throw away the end of line characters. So you would end up looking something like this for CH in text. Okay, number one, your program must require a command line argument that contains the input file. If the command line argument's omitted, the program should give an appropriate error message and stop. And I've got some sample code here. I'm going to go ahead and copy that. Copying and pasting into a program from a Word or especially from a PDF file is kind of dangerous, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I've already started PyCharm, and I've got my program already set up. Okay, we need the sys import statement. We're also going to need OS. Let's go ahead and go get our let's set the file name equal to sys.arg v sub 1, and then let's print that. Okay, now I haven't set up the command line argument yet, so this is automatically going to say that the command line argument's missing. Okay, input file is not included in command line arguments. Alright, now in the instructions I've got some information on how to handle that. you go to the configuration drop-down arrow by the project name in the upper right corner. Now, this assumes that you've already run it once, otherwise this isn't going to be up there. And then you click on Edit Configurations, and then under your project name, then come over here and type in jabber.txt or special.txt, either one. I think I'll put in special.txt first. So I click on that, and then click on Edit Configurations. And right there, okay, now let's run it. Stop it first. Okay, let me spell that. Oh, yeah, I did. RV. Let's try that again. Okay, so we got our file name. Check to see if the file is missing. If so, give an appropriate error message. And the code looks something like this. I already put the file name in there. We need that. By the way, I don't think that's the kind of coughing that people that are getting sick is getting. Okay, I'm gonna comment out the file name there since I know that works. Okay, it says file special.txt does not exist. So that's what that's supposed to do if it's not there. And it's not there because we haven't put it there yet. Okay, so let's go download that. Okay, we need both of these files, and we need to change their names to jabber.txt and special.txt. So right click on that, save link as, and then we need to change it to jabber.txt with a lowercase w, with a lowercase j, and I need to go to where this is stored, my program. And my .py file is out there. It doesn't show it because of the .txt there. If I show all files, there it is. So it needs to be in the same folder with our .py file. And then we need to save special there as well and change its name to special.txt with a lowercase s. Okay, now if we stop it and rerun it, okay, it doesn't say anything, so apparently it found it. Okay, we need to open the file, use a with statement. Now, what if we don't remember what that is? Let's go over to Zybook. The with statement. With, open, all that. So let's copy that. Okay, and instead of myfile.txt, we want file name. And instead of my file, I'd prefer to just use F. And then if we want to read the whole thing, we can say, I'm going to call it text, equal F dot read . And then let's print text just to make sure we got it. Okay, so that's what the file looks like. It says this is a line with a bunch of special characters. Okay, so that part's working fine. So we can go ahead and comment out that line. Okay, we've got number 3 done. Read the contents of the input file. That's what we just did there. Close the file unless you're using with statement, which we aren't. Okay, then count the total characters and print the total. So we need to do that. Now we can't just say char count plus equal 1. We have to initialize it. And we have to initialize it to what? 0. And then we're supposed to make it say something like this: number chars, colon, I'm going to make it an F string, and I'm going to put space, and then char count, and let's make it up to 4 wide. Now what happens if I have it there? It's going to print this after every single character, and that's not what we want. We just want the total at the end. Okay, 57. Let's go see what we had there. Yep, 57. Let's go check it for Jabber. $1,048. Yep, 1,048. All right, number 7. Find the number of lowercase characters. Do that before the uppercase because special.text doesn't have any uppercase. And then we've got to count those. And we're going to need that. And I guess we'll call that lower count. Need to make that an F string. We need to initialize that. Lower count equals 0. Then we need to check and see if it's the lower count, if it's a lowercase. If ch dot is lower, and print lower count plus equal 1. I think we've got Jabber going right now. Okay, we've got 690. Yep, 690 right here. Okay, I'm going to let you do the uppercase It's just the same thing. You put in another thing there. Now, would you just say if ch dot is upper? You could, it would work, but it'd really be better to use an elif there. Because you know, if it's lower, you don't need to be checking it for upper, right? Okay, then what's next? So I'm going to let you guys do number 8. Find the number of lines. You can do this by counting the number of new line characters, but if a file's last line fails to end with the end of line character, you still need to count that as a line. So every single line has the end of line character on it, except the last line may or may not have it. Okay? So we still need to count it even if it's not there. So I think the best way to handle that is to hang on the very last character, and then we'll see whether it's a new line character or not after we get out of the loop. And if it's not a new line character, then we need to add one to it to count that line. If it is a new line character, then we already added one to the count of the lines. Okay, so you'll want your uppercase here, and then check new line. So L if ch is new line, line count plus equal 1, and then of course we need to initialize line count. Now, after we get out of the loop, so even with the for loop, we need to find out whether that last character was the end of line character or not. So actually the best way to do that is to hang on to that. I'm going to make something called Program10Jabber and set it to ch. And I'm going to set it up here to a space. The reason I'm setting it up here is so that it will exist after it gets out of the loop, because this is in its own little namespace. Okay, it has a scope. Skip what I said about the namespace, but it has a scope here, and so it can't, Program10Jabber cannot be seen outside of this for loop unless it exists before the for loop. Okay, so now when I get out of the for loop, I can check and see what that is. Now ch is not supposed to be available outside the for loop. It turns out in Python 3 it seems to be available, but you really can't count on that. Definitely not in other languages. So we'll do this, since this is intro to programming and not really a Python course, we're going to do this the right way so that it would work in any language. So now I want to check and see if Program10Jabber is the end of line character. Actually, if it's the end of line character, I don't want to do anything. If it's not the end of line character, I want to add one. Line count plus equal 1. Okay, let's run that. 37 lines on Jabber. That's right. We better get one on special. Yay. If you get 0, then you didn't do things right with checking this afterwards. And make sure that this if statement is outside of the for loop. Okay? If it's inside there, you're going to end up with a lot more lines showing up than what are real. It's actually going to add one for every non end of line character, so you'll probably end up with the same number of lines as you have characters, which isn't what you want. Okay, I think it would be a good idea to take a break here, and then we'll come back and do the number of words when we come back.